as a cadet officer. Hindi ka ordinaryong estudyante. I was Corps Commander in 1963. Gigising ka na 5:30, magre-rebelli, may formation kayo. Tapos yung uniforme na napakatigas sa katawan, di ba? Kasama ng sakripisyo yan.
Noong panahon ko, mahirap talaga yung training, no? Basically, dumiretso ako, naging officer ako ng ROTC. Mababago talaga yung, yung attitude mo.
That's a day-to-day inculcation in your mind na we have to do this, not for ourselves. Yun ang mahirap dyan dahil kung kadete ka, meron kang additional burden.
It was a worthwhile experience.
Because that strengthens your commitment to something beyond yourself.
Leadership training, of course, discipline, and love of country.
May bahagi sa atin talaga na nakatutok sa pangangailangan ng ating bansa. Sana po ay lahat ng mga kabataan ngayon, pag-isipang mabuti, I think we can gain by joining the Reserve Officers Training Course.
Warcraft, Dota, lagi na rin.
Tambay, bar hopping.
Mahilig ako sa anime. Mahilig ako mag-bike.
Friendster minsan. May boyfriend ako.
Nakakatamad. Halos lahat yun na pagdaanan ko, pero hindi ako tumagal eh.
Ang ROTC ay hindi lang para sa mga tao na gusto magsundalo. Ito ay isang maganda ring programa para ma-develop yung leadership skills, yung disiplina, and love of country. I was an officer of esprit de corps, teamwork. All aspects, you never stop learning. Just like life, yun. So itong ROTC, makakatulong rin ito sa ating pang-araw-araw na buhay.
The Army Reserve is the force of the future and the backbone of the regular force. It will provide the muscle to the concept of a total army. The concept of a citizen army through a mass-based reserve was crafted with the enactment of Commonwealth Act No. 1, or the National Defense Act, on November 15, 1935. The reservists proved their worth during the outbreak of the Second World War, when 11 reserve divisions were activated to fight alongside the regular forces of the Philippine Army. After being overwhelmed by superior Japanese forces, the reservists waged unconventional warfare until the return of General Douglas MacArthur, who liberated the archipelago. The infamous ROTC Hunters guerrillas made its mark in our people's resistance against the brutal Japanese occupation. The reserve force evolved to become a pillar of a modern armed forces. In contemporary society, it had served during conditions of emergency, natural or man-made calamities, disaster management, by mobilizing a citizenry for national development through a broad-based citizen participation. Article 2, Section 4 of the 1987 Constitution mandates that the armed forces of the Philippines shall be composed of a citizen armed force, which shall undergo military training and serve as may be provided by law. On June 27, 1991, Republic Act 1777, also known as the Citizen Armed Forces of the Philippines Reservist Act, was passed. This law declared that it is the policy of the state to maintain a standing or regular military force in times of peace, consonant to its adequate and actual needs for the security of the state, but which can be rapidly expanded by the well-disciplined citizen armed force in the event of war, invasion, or rebellion. On February 23, 1995, RA 7898, or the AFP Modernization Act, called for the development of a self-reliant and credible armed forces along the concept of a citizen armed force. In pursuance of Section 50 of RA 7077, the Office of the Assistant Chief of Staff for Reservist and Retiree Affairs, G10PA, was created as the principal staff for the administration of the Army Reserve Force. The function of OG-10 is to assist and advise the Commanding General Philippine Army in the exercise of command and management of all reserve forces and other activities related to retiree and veteran affairs. OG-10 is therefore focused on reserve affairs administration, reserve manpower development, reserve organization and force development, and retiree and veteran affairs. OG-10 has 6 branches, namely Administrative Branch, Reserve Manpower Branch, Reserve Force Operations Branch, Retiree and Public Affairs Branch, Program and Budget Branch, and Plans and Reserve System Management Branch. The Army Reserve Command, or ARESCOM, is the operating unit of Headquarters Philippine Army, tasked to implement reservist and retiree affairs plans and programs. It reaches into 13 regional community defense groups that undertake the organization and maintenance of 1 reserve infantry division per region. These RCDGs serve as mobilization centers of reserve units through the Community Defense Centers, or CDCs. There are 73 CDCs tasked to organize and maintain reserve infantry battalion per province, whose respective disposition and location under the umbrella of RCDGs are as follows. First RCDG, in Camp Lieutenant Tito Abat, Manawag, Pangasinan. Second RCDG, in Camp Melchor de la Cruz, Upi, Gamu, Isabela. Third RCDG, in Camp Aquino, Tarlac City. Fourth RCDG, in Camp Eldridge, Los Banos, Laguna. Fifth RCDG, in Camp Ola, Legazpi City. 6th RCDG, in Camp Hernandez, Dingle. 7th RCDG, in Camp Lapu-Lapu, Lahug, Cebu City. 8th RCDG, in Camp Downs, Ormoc City. 9th RCDG, in Kuta Dao, Pagadian City. 10th RCDG, in Camp Evangelista, Cagayan de Oro City. 11th RCDG, in San Gabriel, Mintal, Davao City. 12th RCDG, in PC Hill, Cotabato City. And 13th RCDG, in NCR Fort Bonifacio, Makati City. The mission of ARESCOM is to develop, organize, train, equip, and administer a mobilizable reserve as an integral component of the total Army in defense of the state and to participate in socio-economic programs of the government. These activities include environmental protection, humanitarian and health welfare activities, disaster response operations, and other community-oriented activities. Today, the Philippine Army has focused on building the foundation for a strong reserve force. It has adopted 8 pillars of reserve force management for efficiency and effectiveness, namely organization, training, base development, utilization, equipage, public affairs, administration, and modernization. Army reservists come from all walks of life, ordinary workers, professionals, businessmen, civil servants, and elected officials. They are organized to promote the common good. The development plan of the Reserve Force is meant to build the future Army Reserve Force structure. This requires the buildup of 64 ready reserve battalions, combat support elements, and combat service support units. Moreover, 15 standby reserve divisions will be organized to be mobilized for war. At present, there are ready reserve units consisting of 28 ready reserve battalions with full complement, 11 ready reserve battalions minus with 3 companies, 29 ready reserve battalions minus with 2 companies, and 5 independent ready reserve companies. There are 14 organized standby reserve divisions whose headquarters are co-located with the RCDGs. Of the 14 standby reserve divisions, there are 3 divisions with full complement. Moreover, government and private entities that provide essential public services were also organized and trained as affiliated reserve units. At present, there are 17 affiliated units, while 43 more are being processed for affiliation. There are 3 training programs under the Reserve Force development, namely Pre-Reservist Training like ROTC, Basic Military Training or BCMT, and Philippine Army Affiliated Reserve Unit Military Orientation Training or PAARO MOT. The basic ROTC program is the most valuable source of reservists, generating an average of about 69,559 reservists annually. Advanced ROTC program produces an average of 1,114 graduates annually. Last year, 62 companies completed the basic citizen military training for out-of-school youth.
Pumasok po ako sa BCMT para madagdagan ang kaalaman ko at makatulong sa Reserve Force ng Armed Forces. Pumasok po ako sa BCMT. Una po gusto ko pong magkaroon po ng military background and discipline. At ganoon din po sa Reserve Force na gusto ko pong magpagamit in case of a calamity and others socio problem sa ating pong bansa. Isa pong napakahalaga na training po na gusto ko pong matutunan.
And accounted for 7,149 enlisted reservists. The individual reservist training includes CGSC, Officer Advanced and Basic Courses, Officer Orientation Training, and Enlisted Personnel Advanced and Basic Courses. This training serves the career education of reservist officers and reservist enlisted personnel. At present, 325 reservist officers have completed their respective career courses.
I also enjoy wearing the uniform of an army. The uniform of an army means honor, dignity, discipline, and being a gentleman. And I am proud to say that I love this country and I am ready to defend it in times where I am very much needed.
Finally, the reserve unit training consists of organizational training, disaster relief and rescue training, and unit active duty training. To evaluate the operational readiness of the reserve, refresher and specialization training are conducted to select ready reserve units. Thus, 66 ready reserve companies have undergone disaster relief and rescue operation training. 26 completed environmental protection training, and 112 underwent unit active duty training. To enhance operational readiness, individual and unit equipment are procured, stored and maintained for ready reserve units. They consist basically of 4 line items, which are included in the annual Army Reservist Procurement